Hello and welcome to Last Week in AWS. I'm Corey Quinn. What does AWS have for us last week? Let's dive in and find out.
This episode is sponsored in part by my day job, the Duckbill Group. Do you have a horrifying AWS bill? That can mean a lot of things. Predicting what it's going to be, determining what it should be, negotiating your next long-term contract with AWS, or just figuring out why it increasingly resembles a phone number, but nobody seems to quite know why that is. To learn more, visit duckbillgroup.com. Remember, you can't duck the duckbill bill. And my CEO informs me that is absolutely not our slogan.
Amazon Bedrock Flows announces preview of multi-turn conversation support. This beats the D&D-esque multi-turn conversations you have when opening AWS support tickets. Your database suddenly stopped databasing. Please roll for initiative. Amazon CloudWatch allows alarming on data up to 7 days old. This is aptly timed, as I too am alarmed at the events of the past 7 days. Amazon S3 tables are now available in 5 additional AWS regions. To be specific, you've got Frankfurt, Ireland, London, Stockholm, and Tokyo. This is something that AWS needs to get on as they continue to invest in building new regions every 40 miles or so. It's hard to reason about S3 when what S3 does changes depending upon which region you're in. AWS Client VPN announces support for concurrent VPN connections. For example, it says, software developers using AWS Client for VPN can now connect to development, test, and production environments concurrently. Perhaps think it through before bridging production into your development environment? Maybe just a bit? AWS Code Build now supports test splitting and parallelism. Unfortunately for you, your shitty code base doesn't. AWS Marketplace introduces 8 decimal place precision for usage pricing. Who the hell is going to open a ticket over a millionth of a cent in order to... This specific release commentary is sponsored by the Duckbill Group, where we fix the horrifying AWS bill, negotiate AWS contracts, help staff up your FinOps practice, and help build a FinOps strategy. To learn more, visit duckbillgroup.com or reach out to me in all the places I live. I'll get back to you as soon as I finish quibbling with AWS over a millionth of a cent.
Here at the Duckbill Group, one of the things we do with, my day job is we help negotiate AWS contracts. We just recently crossed $5 billion of contract value negotiated. It solves for fun problems, such as how do you know that your contract that you have with AWS is the best deal you can get? How do you know you're not leaving money on the table? How do you know that you're not doing what I do on this podcast and on Twitter constantly and sticking your foot in your mouth? To learn more, come chat at duckbillgroup.com. Optionally, I will also do podcast voice when we talk about it. Again, that's duckbillgroup.com.
Announcing AWS User Notifications GA on AWS CloudFormation. This supports notifications via the Console Notification Center, email, AWS chatbot, or mobile push notifications to the AWS Console mobile app. Well, that won't do. I demand that my notifications arrive via singing Telegram. Deploy, deploy, deploy your stack, it's failing all the way. Errors scream like a bad dream, cloud ruins your whole day. So check your YAML, tweak your code, still it won't comply. CloudFormation's love is cold, guess it's time to cry. Enhance the resilience of critical workloads by architecting with multiple AWS regions. This is a great article. But I do think that there are cases where skipping the multiple AZ phase and going straight to multiple regions, 1 AZ per, makes sense. Heck, it's not like it'd cost any more from a data transfer perspective among the primary AWS regions to do it. Introducing cross-account targets for Amazon Event Bridge event buses. Add this to my ever-growing list of, you have an AWS account. I have an AWS account. I want to send a message from mine to yours services. Diving deep into the new Amazon Aurora Global Database Writer endpoint, speaking of multi-region architectures, this is worth perusing if you're using actual databases instead of my pretend databases. AWS and Nanog join forces, unlocking IPv6 potential with the IPv6 Clinic at Nanog 93. I gave the keynote at Nanog 91, wherein I dunked gently but lovingly upon the cloud provider's lackadaisical approach to IPv6 deployment. Now I'm wondering how much of that gentle ribbing was taken seriously. And finally, issue with AWS sign-in IAM user login flow, possible username enumeration. CVE 2025-0693. Interesting. Apparently, there used to be different delay lengths if an IAM user existed versus if it didn't. AWS has fixed this by adding a delay to all failed login attempts, which, frankly, learn not to typo your own name. Nice find. And that's what happened last week in AWS. I'm cloud economist Corey Quinn. Please stick around.
This has been a Humble Pod production. Stay humble.